Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest warrant. It was issued June 3rd. It's charging you with aggravated battery with a firearm.
He had everything: money, fame, and the streets screaming his name. Then lost it all to a gun, a bag of cash, and a moment of pride. Pooh Shiesty's story isn't just a fall from grace. It's a movie about loyalty, revenge, and self-destruction playing out in real life. Before the platinum plaques, before the world chanted, "Back in Blood," there was a kid named Lontrell Donnell Williams Jr., growing up in one of the toughest corners of South Memphis, Tennessee. No silver spoons, no handouts. Just a boy who learned that in his neighborhood, you either stand tall or get buried early. They called him Shiesty because he moved with quiet precision, slick, unpredictable, and always 10 steps ahead. That name wasn't just a flex. It was survival. The streets gave him his identity, and that same identity would one day make him famous, and later, infamous. Memphis was no playground. Cane Creek Apartments, where Pooh came up, was the kind of place where every night sounded like war. Sirens, arguments, and gunshots blending into one soundtrack.
He explained their relationship by saying,
"Yeah, it's too much chemistry, really. It's like us to being together make us go harder, make something harder come out. Like he might go on the verse and say something crazy, everybody in the yoke going crazy. Then I go in there, you know what I'm saying? It just make me go. He give me the extra go."
He once said it straight. "Ain't no fairy tales where I'm from, just stories that don't end happy." And that's the truth that shaped him. But even through the chaos, Pooh had a gift, a raw ability to turn pain into poetry. While other kids dreamed about basketball or cars, he was writing verses about survival, betrayal, and the hunger to escape. Music became his weapon. By the time he hit his late teens, he wasn't just a product of the streets, he was their voice. He teamed up with his lifelong friend, Big 30, another South Memphis native who shared the same grind and danger. The two of them had been tight since school days, and together they formed a deadly combo, two young rappers who lived everything they spit. Their crew, known as Chopper Gang, became the heart of the Memphis underground scene. They weren't studio gangsters, they were what they rapped about. Each track they dropped carried the tension of real life, enemies, funerals, hustles, and hard choices. Then came the break every artist dreams of. In early 2020, Gucci Mane, the trap legend himself, noticed Pooh's hunger and reached out. Just imagine, one of the biggest names in Atlanta's trap scene sliding into your DMs, saying, "Let's work." Within weeks, Pooh Shiesty was officially signed to 1017 Records, Gucci's powerhouse label. That deal changed everything. Suddenly, the same kid who grew up ducking bullets was flying to shows, counting racks, and standing shoulder to shoulder with rap royalty. Gucci saw in him what everyone else soon would: authenticity, charisma, and a danger that couldn't be faked. But here's the twist. The same fire that made him real was the same fire that would burn him alive. Because while his fame skyrocketed, his street mindset never left. He wasn't ready to play the industry game. He was still playing by hood rules, where disrespect meant war and walking away meant weakness. At just 20 years old, Pooh Shiesty was on top of the world, but still standing on the edge of a cliff. His music was blowing up, his image was untouchable, and his name echoed in every club across the South. But beneath all that success, danger was quietly loading the next chapter of his story. And that chapter would start with one song, one anthem that turned him from a local legend into a global star, and later into a federal target.
Me in the bed, middle of the night, one day, he texted me on Instagram.
Did you believe it, or did you think it was a lie?
I couldn't believe this shit. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never wanted to sign to nobody. It's just my mentality. And you know, in the city, it's like you gotta sign to either one of them. You gotta be paper out of CMG. So before WAP came out, I'm still Chopper Gang, this is my label. So I wanted to be like, why you can't be signed to Chopper Gang, CMG, or paper route? Then WAP came, boom, perfect sense, you know?
When Back in Blood dropped in November 2020, it wasn't just another trap record, it was a cultural earthquake. That song hit the streets like a warning siren. The collaboration with Lil Durk was pure lightning. Memphis energy met Chicago drill chaos, and together they created something unstoppable. Yeah, you know who took that stunt from you? Come get it back in blood. That line alone turned into a movement. People weren't just singing it, they were living it. In every city, from Atlanta to Chicago, cars were blasting it, parties were shaking with it, and suddenly everyone wanted to know who Pooh Shiesty really was. The record skyrocketed to number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100, going platinum in record time. Gucci Mane couldn't have picked a better artist to represent 1017. Shiesty was raw, fearless, and unpredictable. He wasn't pretending to be street, he was the street. Every lyric sounded like it was written on a police report. But here's where things got tricky. While the fame exploded overnight, Pooh's life didn't slow down one bit. The same world he was trying to leave behind was now pulling him right back in. His lyrics weren't storytelling, they were confessionals. And when your art mirrors your reality too closely, those two worlds start to collide. People in the industry began noticing how deep he was still in the trenches. Charleston White, one of the most outspoken voices in hip-hop commentary, publicly warned that Pooh Shiesty's success might not last. He said, "That boy too deep in it." He don't just rap about that life, he's still living it.
Actually made it like with Dirt, where he just in another session in the same studio.
So he's like going back and forth? And
yeah, we run it, that's how we do. We go see what he got going in his session.
yeah.
It's just locked in, it's love.
At the time, fans brushed it off as hate, but White's words turned out to be hauntingly accurate. Pooh's image was pure authenticity. That's what made fans love him. But that same authenticity was a double-edged sword. He wasn't just rapping about guns and loyalty. He was still surrounded by it every day. He had money, fame, and millions of eyes watching. But mentally, he was still on Cane Creek time, where walking away from a problem meant weakness. By early 2021, the pressure was insane. He had a top 3 Billboard mixtape, Shiesty Season, featuring artists like 21 Savage, Lil Durk, and Gucci himself. Critics praised his menacing delivery and dark, eerie beats, saying it was like Memphis drill on steroids. Fans couldn't get enough.
Man, I don't know who writing his lyrics, the devil? How that boy think of all that shit? As young as he is, man, how that little nigga think all that shit? How he know about all them guns? How he know how to kill the way he kill? Man, that's a dangerous motherfucker.
He was performing everywhere, flooding the internet with freestyle clips and music videos dripping in cash, cars, and diamonds. But behind the platinum smiles, there were cracks showing. Old street ties, new fame, fast money, it was a dangerous mix. His success was outpacing his maturity, and that balance was slipping fast. Everyone around him could feel it, the tension, the chaos, the risk. He was moving too fast, too fearless, too caught up in proving that fame hadn't changed him.
Culture is destructive anyway, right? The hip-hop culture, the black culture is destructive and detrimental anyway. So he's born into it. He's not giving out the energy, homie. He's just a reflection of it.
The industry saw a rising star, but the streets saw something else, a target. It was only a matter of time before the two worlds collided in the worst way possible. By late 2020, Pooh Shiesty was on fire. The fame, the money, the jewelry, everything was shining. But success can't erase the streets overnight, and that truth came crashing down on October 9th, 2020, in Bay Harbor Islands, Florida. What was supposed to be a quick, low-key meetup turned into a real-life crime scene. According to reports, Pooh and his crew met up with 2 men, Bobby Brown and Brandon Cooper, to buy marijuana, codeine, and luxury sneakers. Sounds harmless enough, right? But here's where it gets crazy. The deal was happening right across the street from a police station. You read that right. Literally across the street from Bay Harbor Islands PD. Cameras everywhere, police minutes away, and yet the exchange still went down. Surveillance footage shows Shiesty pulling up in a McLaren, stepping out fresh, confident, and ready. But in a matter of seconds, everything went left. Gunfire erupted, loud, chaotic, and deadly serious. One of the men was hit in the buttocks, another fell trying to escape. People scrambled, cars peeled off, and the whole scene exploded in panic. Shiesty and his crew allegedly fled the scene, taking marijuana, codeine, and sneakers with them. But this wasn't just another Miami street story. Pooh made a rookie mistake that would haunt him forever. He dropped his Louis Vuitton bag, and inside was $41,000 in cash. Here's the wild part. Detectives matched some of the $100 bills in that bag to the exact same serial numbers from bills he had posted on Instagram just days earlier.
Say that in a way, because shit happened so fast. Like, everything just happened so fast. Everything was going so fast, so you never had a break. You know what I'm saying? You right, you just say that in a way.
The same money, same bag, same flex. Now it was government evidence. Social media had officially turned into the Fed's best friend. Every flex, every photo, every post came back to bite him. Investigators said his Instagram basically helped build their case. On October 13, 2020, Pooh Shiesty was arrested and hit with multiple serious charges: armed robbery, aggravated assault, and theft. The mugshot spread like wildfire. Fans were stunned. One day he was on tour celebrating platinum success. The next, he was facing federal charges and sitting behind bars. But the story didn't end there. Because the feds weren't just looking at this one incident, they started building a pattern. Every detail from his lyrics, every rumor from the streets, every photo with guns or money was now part of a much bigger picture.
Stop. In a few months. Sure.
It is crazy because I feel like, wait, a few months, really? That soon?
The Bay Harbor shooting became ground zero for a larger investigation that would soon involve multiple cities and federal agents. It was the turning point, the day the superstar turned into a suspect. And as bad as it was, the worst was yet to come. Because even while out on bond, Shiesty couldn't stay away from the chaos. Just a few months later, another shooting, this time in Miami's most famous strip club, would officially seal his fate. After the Bay Harbor Islands mess, Pooh Shiesty should have gone ghost, laid low, stayed quiet and let his lawyers do their job. But instead, the streets pulled him back again. Just months later, he found himself in the middle of another chaotic scene that would push him straight into federal custody. It was Memorial Day weekend, May 30th, 2021, at King of Diamonds, one of Miami's most legendary strip clubs. The night was packed, music blasting, money flying, and Pooh Shiesty, already one of the hottest names in rap, walked in dripped out, his chain game heavy, energy loud, ego louder. Then something small turned deadly fast. According to witness reports, as he reached into his pocket, money slipped out and hit the floor. Not a little bit either. Stacks of cash scattered everywhere. The crowd rushed to grab it, and in an instant, that harmless scramble turned into a fight over respect. Now, for an average person, that's embarrassing, but manageable. But for someone like Pooh, a street-certified rapper with millions watching, disrespect wasn't something he could just laugh off. In his mind, every move was about image, about dominance, about standing on what he believed in. Security stepped in to calm things down, escorting him out once, then again. But things got worse the second time. According to police reports, Shiesty allegedly reached for a gun, and as chaos erupted near the club entrance, a shot went off, striking a security guard in the leg. The scene turned wild. People screaming, running for cover. The club shut down in seconds. Sirens filled the air, and once again, Pooh's name was all over the police scanners. It wasn't self-defense. It wasn't a setup. It was pride, anger, and street reflexes colliding with fame in real time. Days later, the warrant dropped. Pooh was arrested again and denied bond this time. Judge Lauren Fleischer. Lewis made it official. Shiesty would remain in custody while awaiting trial. She cited the seriousness of the crimes and his growing notoriety as reasons he couldn't be trusted to walk free. By July 2021, Pooh was facing the unthinkable, a possible life sentence. The feds hit him with a brutal list of charges. Conspiracy to possess firearms in furtherance of violent crime, Hobbs. Act robbery conspiracy. Discharging a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence. Those aren't local charges. Those are federal offenses, and when the feds step in, there's no joking around. Their conviction rate is over 95%. But just when it looked like his career and freedom were gone for good, his legal team, led by defense powerhouse Bradford Cohen, pulled off a near miracle. In January 2022, Pooh pleaded guilty to a single count: conspiracy to possess firearms in furtherance of violent and drug trafficking crimes. It was a brilliant legal play. In exchange, prosecutors dropped the most dangerous charges: including the firearm discharge count that carried a potential life sentence. Cohen argued that the government misapplied the sentencing guidelines, pointing out that Pooh left $41,000 behind at the Bay Harbor scene. "Who robs somebody and leaves that kind of money?" he asked. It worked. On April 20th, 2022, U.S. District Judge K. Michael Moore sentenced Pooh Shiesty to 63 months, 5 years and 3 months in federal prison. Because he had already spent nearly a year locked up, that time counted toward his sentence. Going from a possible life term to 5 years was like winning the lottery, but with a heavy price. No one walks away from that kind of fall unchanged. Pooh had gone from topping the charts to counting days in a concrete cell. Still, something shifted behind those walls. Instead of wasting time, he started writing every day, channeling everything he'd been through into music. By 2023, word spread that Pooh had written 5 to 6 full albums while incarcerated. In an interview with $1 Million Worth of Game, he said, "I at least got to get me a song a day. That's the minimum. I got 5 to 6 albums loaded up. They in trouble. I'm back for revenge for sure. Get out the way or get ran over." Even from behind bars, his drive never died. And he wasn't alone. Rappers like Lil Baby, Lil Durk, and Don Tripp wrote him letters, reminding him the game still had his back. Gucci Mane kept him signed to 1017, showing rare loyalty in an industry that usually forgets its fallen stars. Even behind bars, Pooh Shiesty refused to fade away. While most artists crumble under the pressure of federal time, he turned that cell into a studio for his mind, writing verses, plotting moves, and sharpening his pen like a weapon. He made it clear, this wasn't the end. It was the setup for the comeback of his life. "Every day I'm writing," he told $1 Million Worth of Game. "That's the minimum. A song a day. I got 5, 6 albums loaded. They not ready." His words weren't bitter. They were determined. That energy told the world that Shiesty wasn't broken, just reloading. What's even more powerful is how much support he's had during his bid. Lil Baby, Lil Durk, and Don Tripp didn't just send love. They sent letters, checking in and reminding him that the rap world still had room for him. That kind of loyalty in hip-hop is rare, and it showed the kind of respect Shiesty's name still holds even while locked away. According to Big 30, his day one brother from South Memphis, Pooh's not just doing time, he's preparing to pop back out. In his own words, "Give it a few months. He gon' be back," and Big 30 wasn't wrong. As of March 2025, multiple reports confirmed that Pooh Shiesty was transferred from federal prison to a halfway house. A major sign that freedom's right around the corner. His projected release date is now set for April 11, 2026, slightly earlier than expected thanks to good behavior credits. That means in less than a year, Pooh could be back in the booth, reclaiming everything he lost. But here's the real question. What kind of career will Pooh Shiesty have when he steps back into the world? The rap game has changed fast. New artists have taken over, new sounds dominate the charts, and the drill wave he helped popularize has evolved. Yet one thing about Pooh stands solid. Authenticity never goes out of style. In an era where rappers get called industry plants or fake gangsters, Pooh Shiesty's street credibility is unquestionable, maybe even to a fault. The very thing that built him also broke him. But now, after years behind bars, he's got something else. Wisdom. The man who once couldn't walk away from disrespect might finally understand that true power isn't in the trigger, it's in the patience. With 5 to 6 albums already written and Gucci Mane still keeping him on the 1017 roster, Shiesty is set up for one of the biggest redemption arcs hip-hop has ever seen. Even during 2024's label cuts, Gucci didn't drop him, proving the loyalty runs deep. That decision says a lot. It means Gucci still believes that the young kid he signed from Cane Creek can come back bigger, smarter, and more focused than ever. Pooh's story is more than a headline. It's a reflection of the battle that so many young artists face when they come from the trenches and suddenly taste fame. The struggle to adjust, to balance success and survival, to unlearn the habits that once kept you alive. It's real. His downfall wasn't just about bad choices. It was about a mindset that couldn't switch off fast enough to keep up with the fame. Now, as 2026 approaches, all eyes are on him. Can Pooh Shiesty turn pain into purpose? Can he step back into the industry and rebuild his empire without the streets pulling him back under? Because the truth is, the streets will always be there. But opportunities like this don't come twice. If he returns with the same hunger that gave us Back in Blood, but with the focus and maturity that prison forced on him, his comeback could be legendary. He's got the fans, the catalog, and the authenticity to dominate again. All he needs is control. As his release date inches closer, one thing is certain. The world's about to see a different Pooh Shiesty. One that understands the cost of keeping it too real and the value of moving smarter than ever before. Because in hip-hop, redemption stories hit the hardest when the villain becomes the visionary. And if Pooh Shiesty plays it right, his comeback won't just be another return. It'll be a revolution. So when those prison gates finally open in 2026, the question isn't if he'll shine again. It's how bright he's about to blind the whole industry. Thanks for watching. And remember, this story isn't just about a rapper's downfall. It's about what happens when the real learns to evolve. Stay tuned. Pooh Shiesty's next chapter might just rewrite hip-hop history.